Good afternoon, you guys. It is Kirk. So I'm here with Naoni or Nowney, depending on how I'm feeling that day and how I want to enunciate the bike's name. So this is my full blown China build. So everything on here, with the exception of this Dura Ace chain and the Wahoo computer, is all China brand, all Chinese stuff. Well, I guess the speed sensor on the front wheel, that's Wahoo as well, which is, I mean, it's made in China, but still, it's not a Chinese brand, but But anyway, so let's start off with, I would say thank you guys for showing interest in, my China build. This video was requested by Cycling Buddy. So yeah, let's get into it. So first off, I am relatively new to cycling. I started May 1st of 2025. It is now March of 2026, so it hasn't been that long. This is my second road bike. My first one, I had a Chinese bike. It was a Sava. It came with Tiagra group set. I had that bike for a couple months, and then I got ran off the road, and it broke. So I was without a frame and stuff. So then I ended up building this one. So let's start off with the frame and fork and bar. This is a Dongli, pretty much a tarmac clone. There's all kinds of companies that make these in China. They're like a lot of these are Tans. They're depending on which one you get, you don't know what you're gonna get. So you have to do your research and dig and whatnot. So when I originally got this frame, fork, and bar combo, it was just over $400. And I went onto the posting that where I got it now, it's $900 now for the frame set. But yeah, they have, you can paint it however you want. Like if you want it to look like a tarmac, they'll paint it like a tarmac. They have a giant book of colors. You can pick whatever you want. I wanted mine fast as crap, so I just picked this nice little plain white pearl. And I wasn't doing any kind of, I wasn't trying to do a specialized tarmac clone, so I didn't get any of the stickers or anything like that to make it, to make it look like something that it's not, But the frame is all EPS molded. The inside of the tubing is all freaking pristine. Like the construction between this and compared to my Sava frame, they're worlds apart. Like I can tell my Sava frame was that for the molding they used bags, because there's little shards and things sticking up everywhere, and like there's little pieces of plastic from like the bag getting ripped out that's stuck in the carbon layup. This didn't have that at all. Everything in there is smooth. Even the bottom bracket, I mean, there is not a seam or a flake or a shard or anything anywhere in this frame at all. And same with the fork. So that was all great. The frame, fork, and bars was incredibly light. It was barely heavier than a Specialized S-Work Tarmac XL8. But mind you, this is a 52. It's not a medium. So, they list the weight of the Tarmac on, as a medium. I don't know what size frame they're using as the medium, but this is a 52, and it's Chinese, and it's like, but, so yeah. So from there, we're going to get into the parts. So we got the frame, which is the Nongling frame. It is full carbon fiber. It claims to be a mix between T1000 and T1100 carbon fiber. So it's supposed to be T1000 Toray carbon fiber with 1100 reinforced areas. I will say I don't have any flex in this. This bike is noticeably more stiff than the Sava that I had. And Sava has made a name for themselves. They have a cycling team now, and they're, yeah. Anyway, So let's get into it. Let's start with the issues. So the first issue that I ran into with this frame was the same thing that you see, I've saw time and time again when looking up videos on Chinese frames and getting from Aliexpress or Amazon or anything like that. Well, because they get these as blanks, they're just raw blanks and they paint them to color. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you didn't. My brake mounts were completely painted over. And on the frame, and I mean completely painted over. I mean even the hole was painted over. So right off the bat, when I put my brakes on, they were a pain in the butt to get them not to rub. And when I got them not to rub, it was awesome. But then I upgraded my brakes, so I got these Z-Race XG4 4-piston caliber brakes. So each caliber has 4 pistons. So instead of a regular one that just has the one on each side, this one has 2 on each side. Comes in this wonderful purple. For the cost of those, it was $72 for the pair that came with, with the actual brake mounts, and that's it. And then the brake pads. So you still have to buy the hoses and then whatever else that you need, but you should probably already have that from your group set, depending on what you had a group set and whatnot. So the brakes, so that was a pain in the butt. When I switched the brakes, my front mount, I was being a dumbass and I did not use a torque wrench because I was just in a hurry. The parts showed up super late, and I was trying to get out the door after work to go ride. And in my ignorance, I accidentally stripped one of the front post mount screws. So that created a whole other issue, and so I ended up using an epoxy and making new threads in there. So it has just the slightest bit of rub in certain spots, but I mean, it is what it is. For the most part, it's so small, I don't even notice it. I mean, am I losing a watt, maybe 2 watts? Probably, but I don't care. So yeah, there are also the Z-Race rotors on there. It's 260 front and rear, matching color, same company. So they've been fantastic. I rode 50 something miles in the rain the other night, and these have no problem stopping in the wet. Like, they feel as good as my 1-piston hydro brakes in the rain. These felt as good as the regular hydraulic brakes, the dual pistons, one on each side, in the dry, as this did in the wet with the 4 pistons. So stopping power is no issue. You want to stop, you want to flip over your bars, you want to lock up your tires, you can do it. No problem. You don't have to squeeze all kinds of hard or gnarly or nothing like that. So, that's a big point. So that's a big plus. But yeah, so getting the brake mounts, getting the brakes all lined up and everything is a pain in the butt because I don't have a surfacer. Some stuff that I didn't really know about until after the fact. But it works. She rolls. Does what it needs to do. So, but yeah. So next up, let's go to the wheels. The wheels are Super Team Classic Pros. I got these on special, so the wheel set themselves, when I got it, it was on sale for $480. So, this is a weird one because they don't actually have this wheel set in this configuration available often. I haven't been able to find it since. So this is actually full ceramic hubs in here. It has the wave rim, but it's the lighter version of the wave rim. It's not the same one that was on the original Classic. So this wheel set came out. It weighs 1,400 grams. Like I said, sub $500 for full carbon. This is the wave. It's a 45 to 50. So that's a pretty deep wheel. 1,400 grams, sub $500. I've had these wheels have almost 2,000, have over 2,000 miles on them because these were I had these on my other road bike, the first one I got that got destroyed. They've been absolutely fantastic. Like I said, ceramic bearings in the hubs and everything. Great, lightweight. Can't complain. They make an awesome whooshing sound when you're riding, and it's really cool. So yeah, the tubes in there, I'm using the Ride Now TPU tubes. I have to say that the tubes are great. Sometimes, like, yes, they lose air. Sometimes, like, not all of them are created equal, but they're super cheap. I've been using Ride Now inner tubes, TPU tubes since I was riding BMX because, well, I have BMX friends. A couple of them are pros, current pros, ex-pros, whatever, and you know they really love tubalitos. And you know you wouldn't think it's that big of a difference, but I'll tell you what. When you're riding a 2.5-inch freaking tire on a BMX bike, you know, switching over to these, like, shaved off pounds off the bike. But yeah, I've had really good luck with these. They're cheap, you know, 2-pack, $20, light, you know, great tubes. Sometimes you get not a good one, sometimes, you know, but you can buy them in 8-packs and stuff like that. It's, you know, it's not an issue. They're so cheap, it's not a big deal. I haven't had a single puncture on them yet, but I have had, you know, some slow leaks and whatnot, and I've had a tube arrive that already had a hole in it. So, you know, that happens. You know, cheap stuff, you're gonna have issues that you have with cheap stuff. Next up, we got the group set. We're gonna hit the group set. This is the wheel top EDS TX group set. This is an interesting version. So it's like it's not the current version you get in the United States sale. It's like the current version that you get in China. So it came with a different set of brake calibers. I didn't use the calibers. But so yeah, the group set came with the hoods, the front derailleur, the rear derailleur, the batteries, power cable, stuff like that. I paid $465 plus a little bit of tax and then shipping. It was like $512 to my door for a full wireless group set. There's no batteries or wires in the frame on anything. It's mount, set up and go. The group set itself was fantastic. I didn't have to do any calibration initially. I threw it on there and it worked. Now, it just did the auto calibration and it was fantastic. Worked, no problems. But then I did some upgrades, so I went to this 53 tooth chain ring. Also matches. It's also a Z-Race. This is a Pass Quest, not Z-Race, but the purples are the same because it's the 7075 aluminum. So you know, yeah. So when I went to this 53 tooth chain ring, then I did have to do some calibration because I went to a 53 tooth chain ring in the front, and this is an 11 to 36 cassette in the back. There's also a Z-Race cassette in the back. It's their super light cassette. This cassette only weighs a little over 100 grams. So super freaking light. Several hundred grams lighter than, yeah. But yeah, so this cassette on here also has almost 2,000 miles on it, and it's still working freaking great. So yeah, I did do the calibration. You can calibrate each individual gear if you want to, which, I mean, you can have if you want to take the time, you can have it to where your stuff's perfectly quiet. I did tune some. I still need to, there's still a couple gears that could be a little quieter, but it's already quieter than my Tiagra, and so that's awesome. Let's say you can do a little shifty, do some shifting for you. Yeah, no problem. Nice and quick. Yeah. Oh, that's the wrong one. So that was front new dealer. Hold that front. You can hold it. Drop as many gears as you want. Go up as many gears as you want. Very fast, all the way to the smallest. See, brakes super work, really good. So yeah, shifting, great. Battery life, great. Rode it in the rain, 50 miles. Zero issues. The only complaint I have about this group set is the little battery, the little covers for the battery, the little magnetic ports. On the back derailleur, it's a pain in the butt to get it to seat properly. But that's my biggest gripe and my only gripe about it. So yeah. Now, the crankset, we're using the XKD Ventus crankset. It's a carbon crankset. Has a titanium axle in here. And it's freaking great. I have a Garmin Tax Neo 2T trainer, and I did some dual recording when I first got this to check, see how far off it would be from the Garmin, because the Garmin's the Tax Neo 2T is supposed to be super accurate, and anytime the Garmin moved, this thing moved. I know some people have there's different versions of this out there. Some have an issue to where the watts stick and some not. I say mine, luckily enough, I did not have that watt sticking issue. I've dual recorded multiple times using the Neo 2T, and this thing tracks very, very closely. I will say this one reads a few watts higher, but then again, this is at the spindle, whereas the Garmin is registering power at the actual wheels. So it's like same thing as engine crank horsepower versus wheel horsepower. One of that same kind of deals. Pedals I got on here are the Zitto. These are carbon fiber pedals. This one needs to be real oiled. It's a little stick because I ride in the rain, and yeah. But normally they sit flat most of the majority of the time. No issues, no flex, no creaking, no nothing. Perfect. These are a little bit on the pricey side. So like for these carbon pedals, I paid $101 for these, and they've been great. The power meter crankset. This was like $480. So we're seeing a theme here. Most of this stuff is sub $500. It's a common theme. A lot of carbon fiber. This 53 tooth Passquest chain ring. This thing was a little pricey. This was $110. But it's super lightweight and purple. The pretty tax, the purple pretty tax, got that for sure. So the chain's Dura-Ace chain. It's expensive. There's no way around that. The seat that I'm using on here is actually a seat for my Savla frame, because this is a Riot seat. This is the original I originally had on here. This is a Riot specialized clone seat. The seat is actually really comfortable, but I had an issue with it. So this 3D printing is on the side, and it grips right up here. And I'll bring this close to the camera. You can see where it's the paint. It's rubbing through all that black color, starting to see the clear in there. Well, this is gripping the inside of my cycling shorts and then rubbing on my leg. So I've been searching for another seat to get rid of this, but this seat's really comfortable. If you don't have this issue, get it. Pretty cheap. It's like $80 for a 3D printed saddle. I just switched to this one yesterday just to see if if this would have this issue with this type of material, and it didn't. This seat's actually comfortable, but I need to make an adjustment. It's slightly tilted down, so that creates some issues. But yeah. So that aside, next we're going to the seat post. This was the other issue that I had with this frame set. The first ride I took this out on, I was sitting down, it's right in the dark, and I hit a pothole. At the time, I weighed a little over 200 pounds because I was just getting done weightlifting and just started cycling and stuff and whatnot. So I didn't have the skinny of the body as now. It's really bulky, had a lot of muscle unnecessary. I was sitting down, going down a hill. I was doing just about 28 to 30 something miles an hour. And I didn't see the pothole, and I hit a pothole full blown sitting down full speed, and broke the seat post. So contact the guy on the Aliexpress, whatever, and he didn't respond. Originally he responded, and they got me an email saying he just sent me a new seat post. They never responded, so I just ordered another seat post off of Aliexpress. This one's been great. It was $70, had no issues, fit in there. It says, you know, fits for tarmac SL8, fits in there perfect, no issues. Hadn't had any issues sitting, hitting potholes, been durable. Now let's go to the handlebars. The handlebars are the ones that came with the frame set. They do have a little bit of flex in the drops, but it's not anything crazy. Like you see on some of, like, for example, the GCN video that just came out a couple weeks ago. The dude was putting his weight on it and the whole front end was flexing. Mine does not do that. I've done several, you know, like I said, I'm still new. I can't put out a crap load of power, but, you know, I can put, you know, up to 1200 watts peak power. I've done several sprints in them with this and stuff. And, like, you know, when I'm really pulling in, you know, and like pedaling and I'm pulling myself into the bike, I can feel the drops flex, but it's not crazy. So that's really nice. Bar tape. Right now is Bucklos bar tape. It was the stuff that I get the fastest. Originally I had physique bar tape on there. I like the thicker stuff, as they're 2mm thick, or 2.5mm thick bar tape on there. So I got this Bucklos stuff, which is similar. It's not as stretchy, and so it's, you know, it doesn't wrap as pretty. Yeah. Things you don't see that are currently not on the bike. So I got, this is my light. This is a Raveman light. This is the FR500. It is super bright. Yeah, it's flashing. I have not killed this battery yet. Like I said, I rode a 50-mile ride the other night, and it still had battery left. Oh, I gotta grab one more thing. Sorry, I was not completely prepared, guys. Sorry, I gotta run to the other room. I didn't bring it in here. Wait, no, I guess I already did bring it in here. I just don't know where I put it. Where did I set it? Losing stuff. I know I brought it in here. Maybe, I guess I didn't. Alright. Where is my... Huh. Oh, it wasn't here. It was sitting right there on the tray. Sorry about that. So now we're on to, like, the accessories. So I'm using the Magine rear tail light, and I will say this thing is great until it gets dirty. You have to clean this thing off, or else you get false positives. For the most part, this thing is fantastic. Beeps, does its job. But like I said, you do want to wipe this off. I rode this in the rain. I had mud all over it, and yeah, I was getting some false positives, or really delayed cars coming up. But that wasn't all. But the delayed cars, those people were doing like twice the speed limit. So when those popped up, it was flashing red. So I mean, they were probably closing distance so fast it only seemed like it was late, because they were going stupid fast. So yeah, that takes care of that. Oh, I guess we can talk about the bottom bracket. The bottom bracket's also from ZITTO, from Zitto. It's also anodized in purple. It's ceramic. It's been great. Yeah, I mean, it's no issues. So let's see here. Let's move the seat out of the way. So I did upgrade the pulley wheels. They are DJI, something like that. Digi, they're pulley wheels. They look like everybody else's pulley wheels. They have several styles of them. They're ceramic. You know, I mean, I've seen these pulley wheels on aftermarket several $100 oversized pulley wheel videos, and they're like $7. So, and they're ceramic. They come out, they spin forever, but they don't have any oil in them. So you oil them, they don't spin forever. but they still spin a really long time once you oil them. But yeah, that's the other good thing about this wheel top thing is you can fit some pretty large pulley wheels in there without having to change without changing, anything on there. It's and all this stuff is carbon fiber. All this plastic on here, this is on the wheel top, the derailleurs, it's carbon fiber. So yeah, it's already light. So yeah, total weight of this bike is 16.56 pounds. I weighed it the other day, so it's still pretty light. It's still a little bit pricey, because of all the carbon stuff and electronic shifting and all that. So, but still, we're talking sub $2,500, sub $2,000. I have to add it up to all the little nickel and dime stuff for the total price. Oh, forgot tires. We're riding the Pirelli P0 race TLR 4S's. I'm actually going to go to the regular ones because there's really the only main differences is these have a little more puncture protection. They weigh more. And they have like 6 extra little slots, little tread patterns for water wicking. But yeah, you grip good, all that. But yeah, for the most part, riding experience on this bike is absolutely fantastic. It's fast, it's light, cheap. There's no, of course, we're buying stuff from China, Aliexpress, stuff like that. There's no guarantee that you're going to get quality stuff. It just is what it is. But yeah, for the most part, I've had minimum issues and it's been treating me really well. But yeah, this is Naoni. This is my my Chinese Superbike, Ultra Bike, whatever you guys want to call it. Yeah. I love it. It's great. Leave your thoughts, comments below. If you have any questions or want any more detailed information, just ask and I'll respond. But yeah, there you go. So if you guys want a little hub sound check, we can get you those too. I will say also, these wheels were pretty balanced from the factory. When I would do a field check, you see how this has this little rock. Initially, this didn't rock at all, but now there's over 2,000 miles on this wheel set. So they're not balanced anymore, obviously. But yeah, there you go. Ceramic hubs, carbon wheels, rolling forever. Not crazy loud, annoying hub, which I don't really want a loud, annoying hub, but I do want to have some click. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Peace, guys.